Hello everyone, this is a how-to video on how to do a budget. I wanted to start my basis on my weekly expenses so that I can calculate my monthly expenses. So I just merged the text so that you can see it clearly, and I added categories, expenses. Here I'm going to merge the text too to give it a more defined finish. And then I highlighted the area and just added a basic border so that you can see the text more. As for gas, my gas is $25. So I just did a formula that was, this formula was equal to P3, which is $25 times 4, because on average we have 4 weeks in a month, which gave me $100 expenses. Then I went to my yearly expenses. I basically just did a few columns and rows that depict my yearly expenses from October to May. And each of these columns, are different expenses. And what I thought was an amazing tool is the fill option. I can just click on this cell. Instead of putting in, numbers that are constant, I can have the numbers go throughout the whole page. The fill option helped me just carry all these numbers over. As for my totals, I just used the sum all. So I just did the sum of all these numbers, and it equaled my total. And so that you can see my total calculations, I just went to cell styles and I added a calculation totals. And then I wanted my numbers to have decimal places in case of cents. So I just added to the second decimal place. See how now these cents carried over. I wanted to determine what was my highest and my lowest expense, because if I wasn't meeting my budget, I would have to, minimize those expenses. So I just used the formula, the maximum. And since this is the month of October, I went and I just filled it in for the numbers in October. And it gave me my maximum value of 1,000. And I did the exact same thing to find my minimum value in October. And I just repeated the same option for each month so that I know what was my maximum and my minimum value. Right here I created my weekly pay for my husband and I. And my average pay is $688. It would be ideal to have your expenses within that range, but things happen. And I did our combined actual income, which was $5,766 for the month. And then I wanted to do a table that depict my savings. So for October, our expenses, our monthly pay for October would always be the same amount of money. And our expenses for October, we just clicked over and added this number. Now I wanted to do a calculation that gave me the difference of my pay minus my expenses, which gave me this. And it calculated my total savings. And then at the end, after my savings, I would pay my credit card debt. And it'll calculate whatever's left over to pay for a house payment.